I don't remember these videos being so hard to do. Hey friends, it's your good friend Tim Campbell-Smith, and today we are talking about, and I am answering all of your questions about Wilfrid Laurier University, Brantford, which is very different from Laurier Waterloo. I not only looked up the most commonly Google search questions, I also looked up the top questions on Reddit and Facebook. I used my own questions and questions from other students and have compiled them here into this video for you, for anybody who's curious about Laurier Brantford. Before we go too far, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, mental health, business, and life. Okay, so the first question that people commonly ask, how big is campus? How many people are there? So about 2,700 people or so, according to the official Laurier website. I struggle to believe that number. It does not seem like that many, but I have made a couple friends with upper year students in 3rd and 4th year, and they said like this year, this being my first year, this year there are way more people is what they've said to me, and they notice way more people on campus and in town. So maybe that number is accurate, but about 2,700 people on campus, and that is undergrad and graduate students. How big is campus? First thing, and I'm going to tie this to something else as well, you should know that our campus isn't like a typical university campus. Like the Laurier campus is like a campus. When you look at, like, I think of the University of Guelph, and I hail from Guelph, it is like its own self-contained thing. Laurier Brantford is a bunch of buildings downtown. Wilfrid Laurier University bought up a bunch of buildings and has been for years and years and years, partially for them to have their own new location. And according to some people, it was also kind of in an effort to help, like, not save Brantford, but like keep the downtown and try and like revitalize the downtown. So like, there's the Carnegie building, which it used to be a Carnegie library. And I do find it funny that, like, I know it as the Carnegie building. It's where I have a class. And there's a big sign up top that says public library. It's not a library. It's the Carnegie building. There's the, I noticed the One Market shopping center, or the One Market mall. It used to be a mall. It still looks like an abandoned mall. At the time of recording, it still looks like an abandoned mall. There's not much really in there. So don't think of it so much as like a university campus like many other campuses. It's a lot of buildings throughout downtown. They're not terribly far apart. A person on a tour said that the longest time it takes to walk from one end of campus to the other is about 7 or 8 minutes max. I think that's pretty accurate. It is a small cluster within downtown. The campus is a small cluster of buildings throughout downtown. And side note with this, we are technically the only university in Brantford, though Conestoga College has a building there, and Mohawk College has facilities here. And I know like a couple, I thought they were Laurier specific spaces, are shared with Conestoga. So you will, like, there are other schools and you should expect to see other schools represented in Brantford. Next, something you should know about Laurier Brantford. I hope I don't get in too much trouble for saying this. We are not Laurier Waterloo. You will spend a lot of your time telling people this. You will be reminded of this often. It seems like 95% of all services, of all opportunities, are for Laurier Waterloo, and then the other 5% are Brantford, and now, like, by extension, Milton, because at the time of recording, this is the first year that Laurier is running programs in Milton and on their new Milton campus. So, like, but everything is just designed for Waterloo. On social media, you'll see things about Waterloo. You'll see things about Laurier. It's for the Laurier Waterloo students. You'll see services, you'll see events, you'll see opportunities. It's for the Waterloo students. You'll see that different departments offer different things and have different processes, and those are for the Waterloo students. And it's not always as simple or straightforward for the Brantford students. Sometimes I kind of wonder, like, why can't we have access the way that the Waterloo students do? But hopefully that changes. Like, the bookstore isn't, I don't think is open as often in Brantford as it is in Waterloo. It's easier to book, like, counseling services at the Wellness Center at Waterloo than it is Brantford. So, like, there's definitely some differences in processes there. So with that, I've come to learn, and I want to pass this on to you, especially when you're looking at the social media for Laurier, see if there's a Brantford alternate, or look for posts and stories that are specific to Brantford. So like the Hawk Shop, which is our bookstore, that doesn't sell books. Brantford Hawk Shop is different than the Waterloo one. So whenever they post about anything at the bookstore, check, is this just Waterloo or is it Brantford as well? It is definitely worth noting, Laurier Brantford is definitely not Waterloo, and you will be reminded of this often. The next thing you absolutely need to know before coming to Laurier Brantford, and if you do come, is the situation for outlets. There are not many electrical outlets, and they're definitely not in classrooms. We do have one building called the Research Building, East and West. Those classrooms have more electrical outlets because it's a more modern building, but like in One Market, or I think some S.C. Johnson and some other places, and in common areas, there are not a lot of electrical outlets. So you've got to find the good spots. If you are sitting at an electrical outlet, charge your stuff. Make sure the electrical outlet works. I found some spots at One Market, and I do like studying in the One Market common area, but some of the outlets just don't work. I'll go to plug in my laptop and it will not charge. So that just makes it weirder. So I have to say this, and I will say it again and again. Always come to campus with your devices charged, and try and charge your devices. If you are sitting at an outlet, near an outlet, charge your devices. Next, let's talk about the food situation. Laurier Brantford has no designated food spots except the Belmont. The Belmont is this tiny little cafe restaurant in the One Market Center at Laurier Brantford. It's kind of expensive and not totally worth it. Otherwise, you're finding restaurants and whatever's available around downtown. It's also subject to, if you're on a meal plan, it's subject to relationships with the university. I made a friend who is in residence, and they told me that they could get groceries at Freshco, which is the nearest grocery store. It is quite close, but at the time of recording this year, Freshco, at the last second, pulled their relationship from Laurier. So apparently, the students could not use their student card to pay for groceries at the grocery store downtown. So, you gotta check in on that stuff, I guess. Next, we have got to talk about the faculty and prof situation at Laurier Brantford. The faculty and the profs are amazing. They are so cool. They are so supportive. This really attracted me when I was looking at universities and when I came on a tour and I got to meet a bunch of different faculty members and profs from different departments. And now that I'm here, I'm seeing it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, these profs are great. They're so supportive. They're so encouraging. I'm the kind of student, and I think it's because I'm a mature student and an older learner, but I reach out for help. If I don't understand something, if I need to find something or I need help on anything, I will reach out to my profs, and they have all the profs that I've reached out to have been amazing. They're fantastic. Not just, the faculty and profs are not just fantastic though. The classes are small, so it's easy to get to know your profs and to be known by them. I think there are, a couple classrooms. The largest have 250 seats. There's a few that hold 140, and then otherwise you're in small classrooms. My social work classes are in rooms that hold up to 40 people, and we do not have 40 people. So I don't feel like I'm just a number and I'm not lost in the crowd. It is very easy to get to know your profs, and they want to get to know you. So I cannot speak highly enough of the faculty at the school. Next, let's talk about downtown, and this is tied to the fact that Laurier Brantford isn't its own campus. It's littered throughout downtown. Let's address the obvious. There are a lot of people who experience homelessness. I have a couple family members as well who live in Brantford, and they said Brantford has either the highest or one of the highest methadone recovery clinics per capita than any other city in Canada. There's 4 or 5 clinics. So you will see people who are experiencing homelessness, who are experiencing addiction. On one hand, I'm going to say I'm from a big city. I'm used to cities and seeing that in the city, so it didn't bother me at all. But also I'm going into social work. These are literally people that I want to support and be a part of their journey. But also though, I think people are more bothered by just seeing them, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and frankly kind of immature. These folks don't really talk to anyone. They don't talk to you. You might smell marijuana. Now that I've been on campus for quite a few times, I don't even really smell marijuana around downtown. So you don't even really smell it. They don't really talk to you. So it's more just seeing them. And if seeing them bothers you, study at an online university and don't go anywhere in person, because that's quite unrealistic. It is not as bad as it seems. People, and as I know, like, when I was doing research for this video, and I was looking at like on Reddit and what do people say on Reddit? What do they say on Facebook? What have I seen in group chats on Instagram? It like no one actually gets bothered. No one actually talks to you. So there's nothing to worry about with downtown. It is not as bad as some people make it out to seem. Something I do like though about it being downtown and the campus being downtown is like everything you need is close by. Grocery store is close by. There's a bunch of different like little markets and food places. Now we have no designated food places, so you have to like go find it on your own, but there are so many like fun little places. And I keep discovering more. One prof gave me a couple recommendations on cafes, so then I was like, I'm gonna ask the other profs because they know the area well. Every single prof has had a different recommendation on places to go and somewhere I didn't know existed that like I couldn't easily find through a Google search or social media, so that's been awesome. Next, when it comes to Laurier Brantford, I think this is true for Laurier at most universities, but and I've said it in other videos, I'll say it again, you are expected to follow every single department on social media, like to get their updates and to see what's going on if you want to know anything about what's going on campus. So, and Brantford as a campus has its own like Instagram account, for example. So make sure you follow all of the departments on social media. Next is the gym. The gym, you should know at Laurier Brantford, it's not like just a gym for Laurier, it's a YMCA that I think Laurier helped fund. So like Laurier must co-own it. I know students like paid fees into having it built, and now we pay student fees for it. So the gym where you work out is split between 2 floors. I think there's like 1 or 2 gymnasiums in there as well for like sports and other activities. It's fine. It works. You can definitely get in a good workout there. And then parking and driving. Let's talk about parking and driving. So far, knock on wood, I've not had any problems driving or parking. Parking throughout downtown, read the signs. If you're in like the downtown core, it's 2 hours to park. In other spots, it can be 3 hours. Allegedly, what I've been told from people who live in Brantford is that if you park downtown, like they'll chalk your tires or something, and it's 2 hours within the whole downtown. So you can't just like move a spot. That said, I can't encourage any illegal activities, but I've not had any problems with that yet. Again, knock on wood. Apparently, Brantford police and bylaw can be pretty strict, but parking permits can be really expensive. And this year they sold out. When I went to one of the orientation days just before classes started, so it must have been like a Tuesday or a Wednesday at the start of term, all the parking permits were sold out. So you had to find other places. But I also noticed if you're not just in the downtown core, if you're willing to walk anywhere between 10 to 17 minutes, there's so much parking on streets, like in neighborhoods and around. I don't want to totally encourage that like widespread, but that's a solution I've looked into. The other thing you should know, if you're like me and you come from a city where this isn't common, there's a lot of like one-way streets. So you got to learn your one-way streets and watch out for the signs that say like which direction the street goes. So let's wrap up with like reasons why you should absolutely come to Laurier Brantford based on my experience so far, and maybe reasons why you shouldn't. One, it's really tight-knit. I find that Laurier Brantford is like pretty tight-knit. It's pretty community-focused, like small classes. You can get individual attention. So I really like that. And with that, kind of in the same vein, but its own recommendation, there are a few programs at Laurier Brantford that are specific and unique only to Laurier Brantford. You can't get the degree or do the program at Waterloo or Milton. And they are awesome because they come with like the community, and then you're like part of the group that the campus is known for. So this includes social work, user experience and user design, game design, criminology, and business technology management, BTM. People call it crim, they call it BTM. So it's funny whenever I go to like events or like first day of class and profs were like, okay, what programs are people coming from? Who here is game design? And it's always this list. Who's user design? Who's game design? Who's social work? Who's criminology? And who's BTM? Though, like if you're in one of those programs, you're gonna have a tight-knit community because like those are the programs that we are known for, and they are excellent. I believe like criminology, you can There's a partnership so you can go to the UK. Social work. It is a phenomenal program, excellent curriculum, truly amazing profs with like all kinds of experience. So highly recommend, especially for the programs that Laurier Brantford is known for. That said, there's definitely a few things that may deter you away from Laurier Brantford, and I want to be like honest and upfront and name them here and now for you. One, I gotta say this, you are not getting the Waterloo experience. If you're thinking about Laurier Brantford or a program at Laurier Brantford, do not compare it to Waterloo. Try to look at it as if it's its own university. Even if you just like, I don't know, in your mind, call it like Brantford University. Because I'll say like, I was kind of attracted to the Laurier name, and I'm like, I would like a degree with Laurier as a name on it. Laurier is a pretty great school, but now I'm coming to realize like, we are not getting the Waterloo experience. We are kind of made to feel like second-class citizens. They have more services, they have more food, they have more restaurants, they have more cafes, they just have more. The food experience is not as great at Laurier Brantford, so don't go for the food experience. I will also say, if you want a traditional university experience, don't go to Laurier Brantford. There's not as many residences. What I hear from my friends in residence is that they don't like party as much as other universities. It's not as much like a party culture. Even orientation wasn't as party heavy and wasn't like orientations at other universities. So if you want a traditional university experience, Laurier Brantford may not be for you. It's definitely better for folks who want like a smaller university in a smaller area to build relationships, especially in a program that like we are known for. And then the other thing I want to say with like Laurier and Laurier Brantford as part of like maybe things that deter you away, but you should know is like, there are some things that will just surprise you and don't make sense, and be prepared to be surprised. One thing that absolutely shocked me and I was miffed about for a day is that you cannot take classes at another campus. You have to get very special permission and you have to have a very good reason for it. So at Brantford, we can't take Waterloo classes. At Waterloo, you can't take Brantford classes. I think for us at Brantford, this is more harmful. So for example, like I wanted to take a sociology class because understanding groups of people and what affects groups and societies is kind of important to social work. We have no sociology classes at Brantford. I would have to go to Waterloo, and we're not allowed. So that's a problem. The other noteworthy thing is like services don't always work the same between the two. So like counseling services, it's easier to get an appointment and to book an appointment. Like they pick up the phone and they book you an appointment quickly. I found like booking counseling sessions at Brantford, you have to like leave a voicemail. They have to contact you back, and then it depends on your counselor. So like at Laurier Brantford, be prepared for surprises. Those are, I think, the big things you need to know about Laurier Brantford. Laurier is an excellent school. I just want you to approach Laurier Brantford as if it's its own school. That, yes, does come with a bit of the notoriety, and ultimately, if you finish your degree, it comes with the Laurier name, but it is a very unique experience at Laurier Brantford. Comment and let me know any questions that you have about Laurier Brantford, and I'll be more than happy to answer. And answer from, like, an honest place and not like university officials will, and where they only make things sound positive. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, business, mental health, and life. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.